Thanks for listening to the Grace First podcast. If you want to know more about us, head on over to GraceFirst.church. Or if you're in the Wichita area, come visit us. Sundays at 10:15.
Little interesting tidbit for you. It is thought by linguists that English speakers have the largest vocabulary out of any language. And that's really not to our benefit. It's because English has readily absorbed so many words that we have somewhere, and I know this is a wild estimate, between 250,000 and 500,000. But unfortunately, we typically only use one word for love. If I tell my wife I love her, I mean one thing. If I tell my friends or my mom, or if I'm talking about the greatest cereal of all time, Blueberry cereal, and I say I love that, those all mean different things. And so today is the day we remember Christ's love and his command for us to love. It is, as Tim said, it's Maundy Thursday from the Latin mandatum. It means mandate or command. And we remember the mandate that Christ gave us at the Last Supper. It was in our call to worship in John 13:31 through 35. So just for context, this is the Last Supper. Christ is about to be crucified. And I mean, if you can just think, what words would he want to sign off with? You know, he knows this is it for him. He knows that his time walking with the disciples every day is coming to a close. They don't quite get it yet, and he is trying to make a big deal of everything he's saying. And I think the main message really through all the end of John is that love, it's the point of everything. It is the primary motivator of God. It's the very nature of God. And it's the proof that we are followers of God. Love is the point, and it is also the proof. So we must be very exact with our definition of what Jesus means when he tells us to love each other. He means something greater than romance, than loving our family or friends. But let's take a really close look. So I'm going to start in verse 31, which you heard earlier. As soon as Judas left the room, Jesus said, "The time has come for the Son of Man to enter into his glory, and God will be glorified because of him. And since God receives glory because of the Son, he will give his own glory to the Son, and he will do so at once. Dear children, I will only be with you only a little while longer. And as I told the Jewish leaders, you will search for me, but you can't come where I am going. So now I give you a new commandment: love each other. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples." The love Jesus is talking about is greater than all the ones I've described earlier. He is talking about agape. It is a Greek word that in this context is talking about the selfless, sacrificial, unfailing love of God. It's more than warm feelings or good times or good food, or even deeper than the deepest romance you can imagine. It's the kind of love that flowed through every inch of creation when God made it. He's literally there going to die to show people his love. It's the kind of love that takes you at your worst and says, I'm still invested in this. It's the kind of love that sees value in every person, no matter what they've done, who they voted for, where they're from, or how much value they provide to you or society. It's the kind of love that hates evil and desires justice. It's the kind of love that does not leave when the going gets tough. It's the kind of love that does not only love people if they get better, but instead gets into the ditch with them and lifts them out. Jesus saying that this is the love that God has for us. The original language here could not be more specific. It can't be missed. It's vague in English, but it's crystal clear in the Greek. We must love each other. Just as Christ has loved us, we should love each other. That is the point. It is why he is about to die. It's the kind of love that would take our punishment that we deserve and die on the cross. But it's also the proof. When people look at us, how do they know that we belong to Christ? Verse 35 makes it very clear. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. When God's love lives in us, it changes everything, every relationship we have, the unlovely can become quite lovable. Think of the person who annoys you the most, who makes you the most upset, who's even hurt you the most. For me, it's Christians. I'm a fourth generation pastor, so my dad was a pastor and his dad and his dad. I've been through a lot of church hurt. Christians have hurt me more than anybody else in the whole wide world. And yet, I have seen Christ's love through Christians more than anybody else in the entire world. I have seen God's radical, unchanging, unfailing, amazing love through his people more than anybody else. And so when I think of the hurt that I have, and yeah, it still lives in me. It's not like when you get hurt, it magically goes away. I must remember that Christ had a greater love, and that's the love I ought to have as well. I'm not saying we ought to love people in a way where we call evil good or we ignore the pursuit of justice. We love them with God's love. This is how the world knows we're his, not through church attendance, not through your giving, not through how many Bible verses you have memorized or anything you've posted online, but through our love to each other. Love is the proof. John, the author here, really repeats this in his epistle, 1 John. I want to read from 1 John 3. He says, "Let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth." John of the 12 disciples lived longer than the rest. We're not sure approximately when he died, but one of the early church writers from about 400 AD, his name was Jerome. He translated what's probably the most significant Bible translation, the Latin Vulgate. He writes this story about John. He said, "The blessed John the Evangelist lived in Ephesus until he was extremely old. His disciples could barely carry him to church, and he could not muster the voice to speak many words. During individual gatherings, he usually said nothing but, 'Little children, love one another.' The disciples and brothers in attendance became annoyed because they always heard the same words, and they finally said to him, 'Teacher, why do you always say this?' And he replied with a line worthy of John, 'Because it is the Lord's commandment, and if it is alone is kept, it is enough.'" Love is the proof, but it's also the point. If you don't understand what God has done for you, his radical, incredible love, let me explain it to you. When he died on the cross, it was because our relationship with God was fundamentally broken. When we came into the world, sometime in your life, you broke God's holy law, which makes you a criminal. It makes you a criminal, and a criminal deserves a just punishment. And so God, being awesome, sent his only son, Jesus, who was fully man and fully God, and took the punishment in our place. Perfectly innocent, not deserving, but did it anyway out of love. And if you believe in him, if you trust in him as your Savior, you will see that love in your life. It will transform you in a way that I can't even describe. It's more than words. It's absolutely incredible. So as we are going to take the elements soon, and Tim's going to come introduce the communion, as we remember what Christ told us to do at the Last Supper, think about his incredible love for you on the cross. The great pains, the great lengths, the things he has done to come after you because he loves you. He loves you even though you are flawed, even though you are broken, even though you have hurt people. He's invested. He loves you. Don't forget it.